Go be a trillionaire. I don't know. It seems like you'd want some of that competition though, long term. You know, who wants to be the person at the top of the mountain like that?
A dictator.
But come on,
An authoritarian dictator. Look at Kim Jong-un.
Eventually, you'd be paying people to run up the mountain at you just to give you some sort of challenge.
No, he doesn't want challenge, dude. Who wants challenge? I want complete, authority and.
I'm saying long term though. He's a young person.
Exactly.
He's a young person.
So he wants
with that kind of power, that kind
to
of
complete his thing now and not have to worry about and do whatever the heck he wants now. You know what I mean? Like make deals, not have to worry about his flank and his country. Just like direct policy goals, like having propaganda. Like WWE,
like the WWE. I'm glad they got a chance to see what's going on with Vince McMahon now, see what he's got the wrestlers up to.
XFL.
Oh, is he a part of that still?
He did it again.
He
right?
originally was, right?
He did it again, right? That's like his big baby was making a spring football league, and like it failed the first time because it was just too carny probably. But now this time around they're doing it very like NFL light, and it's like people are really liking it this time.
Hilarious
around.
to think about the first XFL. What was the carny element? Do you think was it because it was like right up against the fans and you can like almost jump in the?
It had
jump into the crowd like the WWF.
Yes, but that was the thing. It was such an offshoot of the WWF.
Right.
You had like the two announcers from WWF announcing games. They had like they didn't have people's names on their back. It was like nicknames.
Right.
So it was like killer people. You know what I mean? It was like I can't remember
characters.
the names.
They weren't
characters.
actual people.
Right. And it was a little bit more hokey and like silly, and it's like the Destroyers and like that. Like the names are silly, but they did have things and elements that the NFL then stole or like
really
borrowed. Like
I didn't know the NFL was.
A lot of it was like production techniques.
Looking at the playbook.
A lot of it was production techniques because Vince McMahon knows how to produce a television show.
That's fascinating.
So they had
good for him that he actually was able to innovate through the outside.
Yeah,
or just providing some sort of competition. But that's what. Mohammed bin Salim, what's his name?
Yes, Mohammed bin Al Salim, I think. I can't
remember.
Somebody's going to
his last name. Yeah, I mean, I should know his name. We've read a bunch.
MBS.
The Khashoggi thing.
Yes.
You know what happened. But you just have this tendency of just like seeing a name and just like saying, "Oh, I got it, move on."
Right. It's just a concept.
And sometimes, initially you pronounce it to yourself.
Sure.
You think this is what this person's name is, Donald Trump.
Oh.
Right. You see the name, you pronounce it, but then every time you see Trump, you just Trump, rah. It's like a thing.
And he's got such a
feeling. It's not even a person
good
anymore.
name, right? He's got such a good name. It's got like a meaning besides being, Trump, right? It's great. That's why Bush was successful. Sometimes the easiest names. That's what they say. Some of the easiest
definitely.
names. There was something I was reading. That candidates that have electable names will be like just put on the ballot because you have an electable name.
It helps. It definitely helps. Pete Buttigieg. Yikes.
Yeah, Booty Judge. His name is literally Booty Judge.
It's just too much effort. You got to think about the policy issues, not the name. And this is coming from someone who's got 3 names. I have 2 last names, so I fully understand my own ridiculous part to play in the situation. The fact that I've
tough.
Had double names. What's the point? Why have 2 last names? Why have 2 first names? Mary Kate and Lee.
My mom was Kim Scholes-Sollers, and then she was Kim Scholes-Sollers Harris. Then she was Kim Scholes Harris, then Kim Harris. Finally. I guess she recently just changed her name officially after like 25 years of having like multiple last names.
Well, there's only so many times you want to have that fight with your spouse,
I guess
you didn't change your name.
There were some papers that she needed to sign, and they were like, "Well, you're not actually Kim." Like, yes, I am. Like, well, legally, you're so and so.
Oh yeah, well that's different.
But it's just wild, that James SG, right? That's what you.
James Smith Grattan, 3 names.
But it's almost like you have like
exists.
You say like you're like a killer. You have the first, middle, and last name.
Yeah, people do say that. Usually, it's after talking to me and learning about me, though.
Then they're
not
like,
just
"Oh,
hearing
this
the
guy's
name.
a fucking."
I
get it. Why he's got the 3 name.
Oh,
John
right,
Wilkes
that
Booth,
guy, 3 names.
James Smith Grattan.
Scary, right? Like nice, but scary in a way.
But scary.
Good guy, but watch out. Specifically, watch him here. Watch him here doing the podcast. I gotta learn your specific like gun or the
finger
the point.
guns.
Yeah. I gotta get those because I'm trying to catch them in the edits while cutting these things
right?
up.
It's good. When I just like play to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every now and then. I probably miss some of them.
It's fine.
I probably do miss a quarter.
Of course you do. I'm too much of a ham to like really like focus on all that.
I'm gonna contact Adobe and develop some sort of software with them where it can catch anytime you do like a signature catchphrase or expression to the camera. It can tell your software to automatically like pick that part up.
Perfect.
To show that video.
Dig it.
So I can make sure I never miss any Matt moments, as we'll call them.
As we'll call them. Then pretty soon you'll have it when I do it. You'll like have an actual like thing around it, be like Matt moment, and I'm just like.
Right, some sort of digital border.
Yeah,
definitely.
of course.
Do you think Matt is an electable name?
I was thinking about it, like Matt Sollers.
People know the name.
Like it's got or Matthew Thomas Sollers, or even if I switch to Harris, Matt Harris. I think Matt Harris always. I felt like if I ever went into like movies or television and I changed my name, I would go as Matt Harris because I felt like that's such a solid, straight, bam bam kind of name. You know, Matt Harris starring in.
Matt Harris sounds like a football player though. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the XFL talk. Yeah. But Matthew Thomas Sollers.
It's pretty strong.
That sounds like Jonathan Taylor Tibbs.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Matthew Thomas Sollers. I'm a boy.
I just feel it, and then that's coming from a 3-name person. So I don't know. Maybe I just
Matthew Thomas Sollers. I feel like I could be like a law professor or something. Like it's
writer.
There you go. MTS.
Yeah. I think writers do that a lot. They throw a third name on because I gotta fucking put something on the book cover.
Or
I can't come up with original artwork every single time. I'm gonna have to at least fill half of it with gold lettering of, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, middle initial always helps too. I think in a writing name,
it does.
Having a middle initial, it's like, oh, this guy's officially something.
I want to make a joke so badly, like Stephen Lord King, like some sort of crazy middle name. What is his middle name? Does he have one?
Stephen. Yes, it's.
If you don't know it, no one knows it because you love Stephen King.
Stephen Tiberius King. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I used to know. I feel like I knew, but I don't remember. And it's funny because I was thinking about him as his middle name. But see, he's got just such a Stephen King, right? It's such a great, solid name.
That's
King.
One of the ones that benefits from being short and sweet.
Yeah. Also, his spelling of Stephen, it's spelled Stefan, you know what I mean? Which is, I think, also an interesting little twist to it.
It is. So it's like a common name, but it's done in just like I don't know, what feels like an arty way. Just like you should spell Matt, M-A-T-T-T. Just throw a third T on there. You know what I mean? Make people pay attention to you.
Drop a T, Matt.
That'd be good too.
Drop a T.
I was thinking that is like a word already,
Matt,
right?
Yeah.
And actually, there's something too. I think making people put in the extra effort to search you. Yeah. Having to keep pounding on that T. Every time they hit a T, they're thinking about you, like Matt. They're just wanting it. They just want you to show up on their.
Get all those T's in there.
Want you to show up on the search results.
Man, I don't want to show up in Google search results.
Why not? Even if the XFL offered you like an announcing job or something?
Yeah, sure. I tell you what, if the XFL offers me an announcing job, I'll take it.
Here's your pitch.
No problem.
Start talking.
I don't really have a pitch. I could develop myself a radio voice if you really wanted me to.
No, Vince likes original shit. He wants something that's kind of like from the past, maybe like a carnival feel, like you said, but slightly different, with some shiny silver jerseys on top of that carnival
shiny.
You don't need a carny in like overalls and sort of dirty, ragged clothing.
You gotta be I don't think I present well enough to do that. Maybe if I clean myself up a bit, got a suit,
Sports casters, they do look nice. They can't look shitty. Like they never just have like flip flops on. Or like
sort of shitty like hats,
Why would you if you're on TV?
Goatee, like a scraggly goatee.
Specifically, often in sport coats, though.
Yeah. You gotta look nice.
Is that why they call them sport coats? Because the sports announcers wear them?
Maybe. No, isn't it because it's like a sport? Like, isn't it because originally it was like in the English and they were wearing coats to do sports, like fox hunting and that kind of shit. They wear
Dude, you're teaching me. I did not know that. No, I have no clue why they call it sport coat.
I'm literally taking a guess and I'm thinking and I'm like, let me use some logic here. Where would the sport coat be?
Let's just pretend that is absolutely the truth from here on forward. It's gotta be. It was from England when they were hunting foxes.
Fox hunting, yeah.
And they were fox hunting.
This
polo.
Tag.
Could it have been from polo or something?
Polo shirts, right?
You feel like you gotta rip it off?
Oh man, it's really driving me up the wall.
Oh, that's bad.
All right, that's fine. It's fine.
Are you wearing something you don't wear as often because you're trying to put some flair on the podcast?
No,
probably a little something different.
No, I really like wearing this. It's not this.
Or is it the other shirt?
The
shirt below.
The other shirt. It's the other shirt. We got it. It's taken care of. No, I wear this at home a lot, but it's because it's a little bigger and baggier. But I don't usually wear it outside.
Matt and I did talk about how we wanted to go to a thrift store.
Oh, we got to do this.
And how we wanted to go buy new outfits for the podcast.
Get a podcast wardrobe so we can impress you guys more with what we wear, and you can differentiate between episodes. And
I was gonna say real reasons, so I can edit these without losing my mind.
I want to look good, okay?
Because it used to be like, oh, that's the one with Matt's green beanie. Now it's like Matt's green. That's also Matt's
Fourth time
green
with
beanie.
That green beanie.
Yeah,
Shit.
exactly. It's actually hilarious though because you're like doing the combinations because you got the good scarf, the colorful scarf with the green beanie. Now you got the Bulls jacket.
Right. And then sometimes it'll be red or black. I got to get a yellow hat in here. I got my yellow hat.
Obviously the Kevlar vest, bulletproof vest you're going to put on in between episodes for the next one.
That'd be cool. Just a bulletproof vest though. Like I want like shirtless with a vest but bulletproof
That's what's
vest.
going to be good about doing these in summer. It won't be as hard. We won't be as limited with the wardrobe, which is why this originally came up in the first place. Because right now we're at 52.
Not bad.
Which for this time of year, pretty normal.
We'll take that.
Just straight down the middle average for what we're getting out here.
Yeah.
Especially considering it's February 2020.
We were reminiscing when we had the heat circle lamp in that video. And, you know, that was when we were like, I can blow my there's no steam coming out of my mouth anymore.
We still get steam.
Sometimes, but not right now, you know.
Yeah, it depends.
Sometimes, though.
On a rough day.
Less than 4, it's got to be like in the mid-40s, and then we'll get that right.
Right. Yeah. Today's not that bad.
No, not at all. I like it. I like it in here.
But we could use the extra wardrobe. Summer's going to open it up. Of course, we'll start wearing shorts on here, tank tops, Kevlar vests.
When it's so hot, we're going to be like, God, I wish it was colder in here. You know, we're going to go the opposite.
It's going to be that way.
You know?
Actually, I started sweating in this garage. I started playing music before we were doing the podcast.
Yeah?
And the first time we played is like untenable, unlivable.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And you know, we're all in pretty good shape too. But the four of us, we left like we had just been to a Bikram yoga class.
I'm sure with all 4 of you, all heavy breathing, you know, that's a lot.
Yeah. It was a certain environment, but you know, I'm glad it's a little cooler now in that regard.
Sure.
But even then, if it gets too cold, you can't really drum the same way. Like you can't hold drumsticks normally unless you like warm up.
Clanch, you got to get the blood flowing, you know?
And I'm not, extensively warming up, so.
You don't always think about the warm up, or you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just think, oh, I'll just go do this thing.
You warm up for anything.
You could. You really have to, right?
No, do you? Like, do you?
No. Yes, no, I guess I don't.
You warm up your car?
I do. I was thinking like
there
warm
you
my
go.
car. There's things I do. I get myself prepared. I guess in warm up you could say preparedness of anything. You know, I like to get myself prepared for work or prepared for things. And
okay, I'm willing to accept those examples next. Right now, I want the obvious warm ups.
Like when warm
you're
up
before
exercise,
an exercise.
like
Yeah, because I love playing basketball.
Yeah, do you limber up?
I have a really hard time warming up, taking the time. Part of me actually doesn't believe in like slow static stretching.
Oh man, though.
I feel like I've heard that it's supposed to like stretch your muscle, and it's actually changing your ability to contract and exert force.
Interesting.
And that if you're actually trying to do an explosive athletic activity, you wouldn't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, you should do more active stretching or movement-based stretches.
Quicker.
Like when you hold a fence post and swing your leg back and forth, different directions, work on that hip socket. That seems more in line.
Sure.
And actually, I sort of just like play basketball to warm up. You start slow at first.
Get it together.
Right.
Yeah.
And you start like gathering more and more.
It's
doing
interesting.
crazier moves.
I wonder. I'd like to have a kinesthesiologist in here to tell us officially, you know, what the best muscle movement is.
Rob's a
kinesthesiologist,
kines major, yeah.
Really interesting.
Or he was.
I'm sure he knows pretty well, like what? Maybe, right? It's an interesting field.
Well, he studied it, so he's got some of the muscle science down to my understanding, but also he has now like been a PE teacher for years. I wonder if that's like actually made him better with the human body.
If
he's seen so many examples, if like you're in a gym class constantly, seeing like hundreds of kids a year, what they're active like, the way they're able to stretch and move, like just to see what's possible with the human body.
Knowing who's going to develop into what early on. Oh man, the muscular structure on that kid, he's going to be a beast. Or
you think it'd make you like a good like baseball scout or something?
Yeah, right. You got to.
Over the years.
This book I was reading was talking about a coach, a PE, like a little league coach, and he would go to the games year after year and like scout the kids and be like, oh, that kid's going to be really good for my baseball team, and like, you know, could see who was going to develop into what when he was. But that was through years of experience.
Yeah. You would have to just see it over the long haul, because athletics can take a while to change. You know, someone's body, even if you're like lifting weights for 4 years, it's going to take the full 4 years to get to like an insane point.
You think so?
To where you not have the mass and the definition and, you know,
here's a weird
muscle
question.
density, all the
I feel like this is a you
elements.
question. You think it's easier to lose a bunch of weight, or do you think it's harder to gain a bunch of weight? But like, and I don't mean like gaining weight, like
I
just
think
like
gaining
putting on
weight
weight.
is easier than losing weight.
Okay, but like gaining weight the correct way, like working out, building muscle, like
Lord.
you know,
Like
versus
lean weight?
like lean weight, and then like losing, you know, of a lot of fat to get yourself in shape. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So is it harder to like exert force on weights?
to get yourself into a
Or-
physical nice shape, or is it easier just to cut all the fat out? Like, it would be harder for me to get buff, or would it be easier if I was a fat guy to lose a bunch of weight? You know what I mean? Like, what's
I
it more
don't know
difficult
what you
for?
mean. I'm trying to understand this.
It's a weird, but like, you know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to get buff and big and like muscular,
Right.
How
Just
long would
mass.
that? Yeah, how long would
Lean
that be more
muscle
difficult
mass.
for me to do that?
That
than it
is
would
pretty
be-
fucking brutal, because you're asking someone to consume a huge number of calories in addition to doing a huge amount of work.
Right.
I framed it exerting force, but you know, that's like lifting weights. So that's like two jobs really. Where the other, if you're trying to lose,
just cutting things, right?
You actually do less in a way. So you're
supposed
still doing. You can have the same exact lifestyle you had before. You just spend less time eating. Maybe mentally you're more miserable, which is kind of the crux of the question. One requires more work, but one is like more of a, I think, mental. I don't want to say torture. It could be limiting yourself. Right, it could be preventing yourself from enjoying something that you obviously had been enjoying much more before that.
Yeah, you're definitely It's more. I think the losing weight thing is definitely more mental, right? You gotta be on the right,
Yeah, although that's one of those things too. You could attack it from two different angles. You could look at your diet, or you could like exercise more.
Both, right? It's always both.
For sure.
It's always both.
For sure. And I think one of those is obviously more upstream than the other one.
I think it's this new trend for intermittent fasting is awesome. I think people seem
talk about this so much.
People lost a lot of weight. I think that's how I lost a lot of weight.
Speaking of our Kines Major Rob, he's intermittent fasting right now. He's doing that all the time.
Yeah, it's really good though. But it's interesting how like I see that people seem to like enjoy it. Like it's like, I feel so much better that I'm not just consuming so much. I thought I needed to.
I end up doing like fasting all the time just based on like my lifestyle. The fact that I actually don't want to eat for long stretches because it does like mentally sag you down and make you tired and give you that sugar crash. I end up like avoiding food sometimes, 9 hours, 10 hours. And that'll be like from lunch to like a late dinner type situation.
I'll usually, because I wake up so early, I usually won't eat for the first like 6 hours when I'm awake, and then I'll eat, and then I won't eat for another like 12 hours until really late at night dinner. I might have something small, but sometimes I can just go without eating for a really long time, and I'm just like, oh wait, should I be eating right now? Like, I forget, or it's like, it's fine, I can wait another couple hours.
See, I throughout my life, I've had different like rules for myself. Whatever. I used to be a huge breakfast person, or I had to eat breakfast right when I got up, or like early in the day. I still am kind of like that. I still am like that. So I haven't been able to do the intermittent fasting window that starts later in the day. Like I just got to start my window early. I got it. At least at 8 or 9. I can't be like working.
So you'd have to go like 9 to 9, right? Because it's what, like something like 10 hours, 12 hours?
People do more extreme ones, and Rob does do, of course, an extreme one.
16 hours plus,
seriously,
right?
Seriously, trying to take a lot of time off like that. Yeah. I don't know.
But you cut, I guess the idea is you're burning the things that you're eating. You're not just like storing everything, right? You're just consuming and it's burning through it, and then you burn through everything you have, all the fuel you have, right?
Consuming, eating, burning. I'm trying to think. How do you actually think about your eating when you're like making food decisions? Do you think of things like burning up?
I think of it as fuel.
Think of it like gasoline?
Yeah, I think of it as fuel.
No, time out. But because I'm really trying to like trying to like flesh this out.
Yeah.
In terms, because the language you talk about burning calories,
right.
But I'm trying to think about how you actually, like, what your thought process is behind the things you put in your body. Because I find myself getting hung up about like if there's like a lot of sugar in it, it almost feels more like a drug or something to me. Like a coffee has caffeine that zips you up. A sugar-filled Snickers bar is gonna maybe give you that like spike. So I'm not even thinking about it in a way like it's just, I don't know, some sort of nourishment. Maybe there's a specific example. I'm talking about sugar, but I feel like in a lot of times I'm thinking about the specific effect it has on my body, not just energy. I'm actually. That's not always the main consideration.
Right.
Is the burning of the fuel. It's more like, again, the drug, like trying to get that sugar zap or
whatever the food is, it does. I always think about it. Like if I want a coffee and it's like, I'm drinking this coffee specifically because it's going to make me energetic. I want this piece of chocolate because I'm kind of depressed and I want to do it because I know it might make you happier.
Are you conscious of that?
Yeah, I think about that. Okay. Like I'm going to eat this salad because I really want to take a shit. I'm gonna eat this salad. Oh. You know what I mean? Because I need the fiber in the salad, so that's what really I need to happen right now.
Yeah.
Or I want a piece of steak because I want, you know what I mean?
I was gonna say eggs with protein.
Comfort food.
I eat an egg every morning, like a hard-boiled egg. It's just like this is gonna be the thing that sustains me in like my ability to keep muscles, even just like not wither away.
Well, when I was like really stressed, there was a period of time at work when I was really stressed out, and I would fucking comfort eat at lunch, and I would have like the macaroni and cheese, the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Oh Jesus!
And I would just like totally carbo load, and then I'd like take my lunch, and after my lunch I'd be like, oh, I feel so good, because my body just wants to like You know what I mean? And I realized I was doing it, right? I was like, oh,
you're
no.
like drugging yourself
right,
with
exactly.
like dopamine or some shit.
With the carbs and just getting addicted to the carbs. Then I was like, okay, I need more salads and soups and less like heavy foods because I don't want that feeling that I'm feeling. That feeling that I was craving.
So this is what I'm getting at. So it's not always about gasoline and burning. You're actually thinking about your food choices to avoid lethargy, right? It's to avoid something, not actually to gain something. Because you're thinking about, even using the gasoline metaphor to death, your car going faster, having more zip, you just don't want to actually shut down the road.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a Ferrari. You don't want to go 80 miles an hour or whatever, but you just want to keep that thing going.
It's remarkable because you could be a Ferrari or you could be a truck or depending on what type
Ferrari,
of fuel, right?
If anyone's confusing all these metaphors, is kale, it's ginger, it's
depending on
mixed
the
together.
personality. Yeah. That is a Lamborghini of life right there.
Considering your food genetic dispositions, of course, right?
Yeah, right. Whatever you're into. Yeah.
But whatever your gasoline food is, it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's going to be some sort of Ferrari-like food.
I think the older you get, the more you're conscious of stuff like that, right? I think you're more. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. But
salad days.
Yeah, exactly. Well, before you could just
underline this point.
I would eat whatever I wanted.
It used to be way easier. Yeah,
right. You could eat fast food up. Every night I'd eat fast food back in the day, which is completely unhealthy. But
and it's a gift. It's a gift and a curse too, because then you remain stymied in that like territory.
Yes.
Talk about not being able to like build mass. If you're just like eating shit, you're not gonna be able to build your body up.
No.
That's no way to like accomplish that goal.
Because it's all trash food. You know what I mean? You're literally just burning it with like shit, right? That's the fuel you're putting into it.
There was actually a certain pride, I feel like in my high school, just talking to people about like being able to just be fucking like shredded and like eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's Dylan right there, right? Eat that cheeseburger, but he used to be when he was working out and doing all that.
Matt's brother. So you feel like this is in your family, like your family's culture with the guys. Like,
dude, I
think it's just a guy thing in general. Right. You can just like put garbage in you and survive it.
Right. That's me. But I feel like all my brothers and they all work out, right? They all work out. They all, my dad's always going on a diet. Every year he'll go on like 2 or 3 diets because he loves food, right? So he'll blow up a little bit, get a little big and husky in the wintertime, and then he's like, all right, I got to go on a diet, and then he'll do some sort of crazy diet, and he focuses on what he's putting in his body.
It's good to stay busy.
It's
good to have something to do like that.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of fun.
But he that's what he does. He worked. And Dylan, when he was in high school and was in the football team, I felt like he was a lot more conscious and that kind of stuff.
Dylan's like 19 right now, so not too far removed.
And now he doesn't care. Now he's in college, so he's eating fucking pizza and fucking Coors Light and shit.
Yeah. But that's the time you can get away with that sort of shit.
Right, which is back to what I was going to say. You can eat crap like that, but now in your 30s and 40s, you're like, man, I can't just eat pizza every day because I feel like shit if I eat pizza every day. You know what I mean? My body can't process it like that anymore.
I'm trying to come up with different ways that I think about food and other people do too, because now I'm thinking a lot of it is either trying to avoid feeling like shit, so avoiding the crash, avoiding the slowdown, not as much like gearing up, gasolining, but not shutting down. And then the effects I want to get. Yeah. When I want to be awake, a little bit more caffeine. When I want like just a little zip in the afternoon or a little dopamine, like a donut.
Yeah. Little sugar, dopamine donut. Sugar rush, right? You gotta get a little sugar beat.
Or the mashed potatoes and gravy you were mentioning.
Oh, like that's just like savory, fatty, comfort, just make me tired. Thanksgiving. We had the Thanksgiving set, and I would just like always go for the Thanksgiving set. And I was just like, it was like,
it's like a Hungry Man meal.
Yeah, green bean casserole. No, because they have like the hot bar at work, so it's like a cafeteria.
I don't know yet. People don't know this. You talking about Whole Foods?
Whole Foods.
You talking about?
Yeah, Whole Foods. But yeah, it's like you'd have like for Thanksgiving, and it would be like mashed potatoes, green bean casserole. You'd have turkey gravy. You'd have ham, maple glazed ham. And then what was the other one? Like scalloped potatoes, just like Thanksgiving meal. Right. So if I could have that for lunch every day, yeah, I'm gaining weight. Yeah, I'm eating that. Yeah, I'm gaining weight because I love green bean casserole, and I'm gonna eat that.
What's the healthiest thing you eat from Whole Foods? Is there like one go-to?
You know what I do? Before, when I used to, when I first started in pizza, I was eating a lot of pizza because it was cheap, right? It was
healthiest thing? Pizza?
I'm getting there. $4 a slice for pizza. But I started feeling like dog shit and garbage. Yeah. And I realized I could even eat, like, not cheaper, but I could go and get, like, I get tuna salad. I get this lemon dill tuna salad, and then I'll make myself a little salad from the salad bar, and that's about the same amount of money as like the 2 slices of pizza or whatever. And it's tuna salad, and then you feel better. You know what I mean? And I crush that.
Talk about getting shredded out too.
I crush that. I eat a lot of tuna there. I love that tuna salad, and I just eat it. I'll get like a 1/4 pound or 1/2 pound, and just like eat it. Everyone's like, "You want bread or no. I just eat it, throw a little pepper on there, and it's great.
It's so funny you're saying this because when I was Dylan's age, when I was like 18 in freshman year of college, whatever, I was eating like tuna and spinach all the time.
That's it.
Because I was like, vain and just insecure and shit.
And you want to be Popeye? Go. Eat the spinach.
And not get the freshman 15 too.
Man.
Like I didn't want to become that sort of stereotype and just let myself totally fall apart.
No. The fattest I ever got was actually last year. That was the fattest I ever got.
You mentioned this, and, that you've been in a cutting phase.
Yep, that was it, dude. I got over 200 pounds, which I didn't know. I didn't think I couldn't do it, but like I was like, oh man, I'm over 200 pounds. And I was like, I don't want to be this anymore, And so I started eating more tuna salad again, and I started cutting weight, and
went back to the tuna salad.
Yeah, didn't drink so much pop, but you just, I don't know. I feel like I'm lucky. I could just be conscious of what I eat. Some people it's not that easy, right? Like,
you don't have to give this disclaimer. Everything is like highly individual in that way.
Right. But I was able to drop like 30 pounds almost within like 4 or 5 months, and it was just like I wasn't trying. I knew I wanted to lose weight, but it wasn't like, oh God, I gotta cut 5 pounds this fucking week. It was like, we'll get there. Just get on the scale every once in a while. Making my way.
In the process of like losing 20, 30 pounds, did people around you, like, did your partner know at the time?
Nobody notices. I'm the only one who fucking notices.
Wait, I was going to ask how many pounds you got to before someone made the first comment.
Nobody.
Like, man, you look good.
Nobody. I swear to God.
30 pounds?
I hide my weight, dude. Nobody can tell. When I told people I was 200 pounds, like, you're 200 pounds? And they're like, yeah, but I hide my weight. Nobody can really tell.
You do have facial hair, which can help you hide weight a little bit. It
hide my weak ass chin and my jowls,
Weak ass chin.
And but yeah, I did. There's we were on vacation and there's pictures, and I actually look like Bert Kreischer because I'm wearing his hat. I had one of Chris's hat and the sunglasses, and I'm like, oh my God, I look so hefty. And then the Seinfeld shirt's a little tighter than I was wearing.
It kills you.
It just looks like I look like a fat dad. And I was like, okay, but
I can't do this. Right?
Yeah, I can't
do this yet.
Either I'm gonna lean into this or I'm gonna nip this in the bud for a couple years. And I decided I'm gonna nip this in the bud for a couple years.
Hey, we are putting you on camera.
Yeah, gotta.
Camera adds 10 pounds, which means that's 2 more lemon dill tunas.
I saw him at my first couple of times here. I felt like my face was like bloated, and I was like, oh God, That was definitely why I wanted to stop drinking too when we were doing this, because I felt like it was bloating me throughout the, you know what I mean?
That's so funny.
By the second episode, I was like, man, you look like you gained like 15 pounds. And you're slurring your words, but.
Yeah, when we first did these, I think because you think that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like get drunk and do a podcast.
Well, yeah, it's like a party atmosphere. It's like, well, what do you want to do with it? Are you just hanging out, fucking around? Or?
In addition, you're just trying to make you like loose.
Right.
Or trying to make sure that you're open to saying different things and being free on the mic.
I think that the longer you do it, the less you want to be. So,
I mean, we're healthy in that way, I would say. So that's a good thing that it ended up working out that way. Talk about predispositions or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But no, I think it's definitely the way to go long term. If you feel comfortable doing this, if we can sit down and have a conversation without having to get drunk or whatever, or at least have a drink and and then give yourself mental permission on some level to speak more freely.
Thing. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely creating a social environment where it is free to talk and comfortability and stuff like that.
And I'm not against like drinking on this anymore. I will continue to do that at points if it calls. Sometimes this is like a fusion social occasion.
James banned alcohol. And that's what this is really about. No, come on, no.
James Absolutely is Puritan now. James became Jamestown over there.
Jamestown
became a Puritan. My God, this guy.
City on a hill over here. No, but it's like it's nice though. You know what I mean? You do want that clear head. For at least for the first one. Sometimes when you're trying to find a thought,
at least for the first one,
and then you're trying to find a thought, and you want to just pop, right?
No, actually, you have to really think about it. This one actually, drinking coffee again at the beginning, it made me like short circuit. I feel like I couldn't speak in the same manner. Yeah, definitely. At the beginning of this podcast, just slightly.
I love it.
Nothing too terrible, but like definitely something that gets in the way. That's just there. That's obscuring what you're trying to convey.
Me, I feel like it makes me like pop more. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like more engaged.
It made me pop too much. It was like double popping me, and so I was like, that's why I was short circuiting or whatever.
double pop. The double pop.
We have to get a robot compilation together because we
get our soundboard. We gotta get. Oh my God, that's so good.
A video of Matt on a previous podcast doing like a quick robot.
Oh, it was really good though.
It just seeded me. I had to do it again at some point. I had to come up.
That's what we call a callback. Oh yeah,
what's up, Austin?
Hey, bud.
But anyway, the robot. We'll get back to that.
Soundboard.
I don't know. I want us to be the soundboards as much as you want props and all that shit.
Oh yeah. I want all the props. I want this to be Carrot Top podcast. I want props. I want gimmicks.
We'll try it for at least an episode. I'm down for that. Although I'm gonna say, if we're gonna have like the DJ horn, like that we've been talking about and joking about, it's got to be a 50% volume in the headphones. Like, I can't do 100% volume voice and then 100% volume DJ horn.
I just want it to cut to me holding it down, looking at you in the face at 100% volume. We should do like for the 30th anniversary, just like a morning DJ themed episode, where it just like starts out and we're like, bah, 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 and it's just like us, and we have like sunglasses, the shitty 90s sunglasses, and like, shocking it. I think it'd be fun.
It would be. 100% would be. We were talking about the earlier, the other gimmick, like going clothes shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Using
that was
GoPros or something to show the journey as we head to Salvation Army. Like, have you trying to tweak
like
coats?
This, yes.
Have you looking all beautiful?
As we're like, just pick up the cameras, install them in the car, and then keep the conversation going in the car. Getting coffee, like two comedians in the car getting coffee, and then taking it into the store, and then literally just like boom, boom, boom. But then it's a lot of cutting, a lot of editing. But you could have some like funnier, moments there.
I can handle
interacting with people.
I'll have more time.
Yeah.
So
in the summer, I just think the sky's the limit.
It is, in that we can have a drone up in the sky and it will hit its maximum height limit to shoot us from above. There's no doubt about that.
Just drops down. That's the beginning of the episode. It just drops down onto us in mid-conversation, and then just like, we keep moving with it.
If I ever am able to jump to feature films, my signature move is I'm going to take a drone as high in the sky as possible, and the first shot of every movie is going to be that.
The drop down.
Zooms in straight from the sky, kind of like a video game or something.
Yeah.
And the last scene, of course, in every movie is going to be the drone pulling it up
to space.
Hopefully, in a few...
By
the time I'm doing this, there'll be drones that go to space. I will be able to take that shot to space. That's going to be my signature. If anyone tries to touch that signature, you better give property credit to JSG Studios, to Neverending Becoming Enterprises, and of course any other subsidiaries and sister companies that may or not share those names. But before that happens, I can't
wait. I can't wait till the legalese that he's gonna come hit you asses with. Do not steal ideas from the cast, okay? Just give us more.
I'm kidding. They know I'm fucking joking. You can steal ideas, but you have to give me 1% of the revenue, as we previously discussed. That's legally binding. You've heard it now twice. So
right, legally binding.
By choosing to listen to said podcast,
you press play. You press play. You signed your life away. Don't come crying to us. Just give us that money.
Okay, if we're gonna do one of these DJ specials or like morning DJ type episodes, can we also do one where we're just giving like disclaimers and warnings about the episode that's about to take place the whole time, and the episode actually never ends up taking place?
Just like an hour of disclaimers, and that would be really funny.
Or it's, I don't know, maybe it can be improvised. We can go back and forth and keep going on and on about what we can or cannot do in this episode.
Yeah, this we can't, no horses in the episode. We've had some horse issues in the past, and just we cannot, under no certain circumstances are horses allowed on this podcast.
And of course, people are going to ask about the donkey clause for the time that famously a donkey was brought into said studio and was galloping and prancing around like it was a horse
during the DJ episode, which again,
during that episode,
we were trying to have a donkey show during the DJ episode, and
painting it like a horse color, painting it like a brown. Yeah, I don't want it to get that wild for the DJ episode, unless it's like the 30th anniversary of the DJ episode.
Right. So it's 30 years from now, and we have the 30th like DJ episode.
Then I'm very much open, because at that point, I'm sure I'll be out of ideas. Yeah, 100%.
Way out of ideas. We've already, whatever, there's not 30 years. Could you imagine that shit?
Yeah, I can, because we're doing that. It's happening, and we imagine it every time we're on the podcast.
Yeah, we do. Just keep going.
How it's gonna go.
That's
forever,
how we
until the end of time.
Yeah. Like, okay, here's a weird Simpsons. Think about that show. That's been on the air for fucking ever. We're at a point now where one of the prominent characters in the original show, they will no longer voice it because that character's become racist. Yeah. That is how much time has passed.
Hank Azaria, not being able to do Apu anymore.
He won't do it anymore. They were like, oh, we're going to keep going with it. And he decided, I don't want to do it. It's too weird.
He pulled out?
Yeah, he did.
Well, people were starting to throw comments that way. And
it's just I don't know. It's interesting to me. It makes me feel.
I heard the people saying it like, oh, that Apu was an empowering character, and he actually was like.
But I guess, okay, in my opinion, yes, he was, okay, and I could see that. But now we're at a different stage, and if people are offended by it and they don't feel like it's as, representative anymore or whatever, like, it's like, I guess there was a time when
the times change, especially with the show that's been on for a generation.
Right. Any character of color back then was just having exposure, right? Like even if it was a caricature, even though, to be fair, Simpsons are fucking caricatures, right? Like it's a cartoon show, right? It's supposed to be a joke. But that being said, okay, fine. Like
except that guy Frank Grimes. That guy was just
grimy,
the most real, serious character on that show.
Yeah. He eats like a duck. Our duck's scented shoe, and Homer's just like sliding it down his gullet. I just love it.
I'm glad you had a quote for me. I didn't know.
That was a great episode.
If we were going into deep territory.
One of my favorite episodes is Frank Grimes.
That's one of the great ones, of course. But
yeah, it's just
if
crazy.
a show is on long enough, it has to adapt. That's why we change the studio every fucking episode. That's why every single time.
So we don't get stale.
The second this goes out of fashion right here, this is gone. This whole thing right here, gone. See, tomorrow I'm going to check out the style blogs. This is still popping. It's staying. If not,
it's gone. One day it'll just be gone.
Not happening. Get flash yours. Make sure you give it a good pull it this way. Give it a little something for people on audio. It's got a hunter green top, little navy, slight peach tan stripe in the middle.
That's a very
overall very 1980s look.
Hey,
if you could give it one decade, it's extremely 1980s.
I dig it.
So if you're listening to this podcast, which at this point is not actually possible,
you're not
check out the YouTube video. Even though this is kind of not even a podcast, it's actually a video show.
Video diary.
It's a talk show. It is a video diary.
It's video diary.
It's multiple things.
Yeah. We got to actually shoot it. I think one episode should be just a straight late night talk show too. Like we should actually do
that just
one.
might be a different show. You know, that might just have to happen. Yeah.
But like just like a practice one where you set up a couch and you'll have like a desk and literally do it like late night and have a guest come on and a musical guest.
Oh, that's great. Actually, I was going to say, I do need to eventually incorporate a theme song at some point.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about playing it for every episode in the episode.
Oh,
just to make it like a performance, like the talking or like the actual existence of anyone who's in the room.
Told you, I could play the kazoo part real easy, you know?
But
maybe the tambourine.
Maybe the first episode we have music, it should be the talk show format.
Oh,
so we'll play us in like talk show style. And then maybe at the end we can do a musical rendition, you on kazoo or something.
Yeah. Tambourine.
A little tambourine action.
You know? But yeah, I just was thinking about that. You know, we're just spitballing, but like, yeah, an actual talk show would be hilarious and fun, and like, just do it. You know, get a couple of cameras, have like an audience of like 2 or 3 people. You know, just sitting there clapping. You know,
I said a funny idea, maybe to me, I don't know, about a YouTube channel that had like created like a new playlist and seemingly like a new series, like every time. Like every single thing it posts is just like a new thing. Like this is a talk show. This is a sketch show. This is a podcast. This is a DIY.
This is my idea for this is where I want to go, is just try everything, right? Like use the podcast to like steer the ship.
Definitely.
And then just do all sorts of weird fucking one-offs.
This is actually eventually going to become a behind the scenes on all the other things that we're doing.
Yes, right.
This like podcast that I keep.
So when you go back and listen to episode 1 to 17 or 18, you could see the gestation of all these fucking wild, crazy ideas.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, 10 years later they actually do the DJ 30th anniversary DJ episode, and if you listen back you can hear it. Like we'll become so self-referential and like,
in the same way that I'm gonna work with Adobe to get that algorithm so I can get your like facial expressions and get you the winks and the guns to the camera just right, make sure I don't miss a single one. I'm also gonna have it scrub the audio and everything, either from my idea face or me just saying the word idea. Or business plan.
Here's my business plan, and it's like you got the fingers. You don't have to have like a finger movement.
Are you trying to
monetize?
Oh, I thought you were doing a Trump thing.
I
thought you were bringing us to Trump.
I don't want to bring us to Trump, but I mean, if we really want to go there, I'll go there.
We
but
don't need
we don't
It's
need
been
to.
covered.
It's been covered. It's been covered, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's talked about it.
Not a lot of fresh takes there.
No,
unfortunately.
But what would be a fresh Trump take?
I might have one actually. I can't remember if I talked about it on the podcast before or not. Let me give it to you. I actually am not worried about Donald Trump whatsoever and him becoming some sort of dictator or authoritarian leader here, because I think gigantic corporations have such ruthless control over this country, or at least partial control, as it's kind of designed for them to do, that he would never actually be able to cause too much damage, or that they wouldn't allow the money-making enterprise that is this country get off the rails enough.
Yeah.
If he starts dipping into people's true portfolios, their actual stores of wealth, he will be out of office. And that's one of the fantastic things about our current setup and how our government works. We have large government that's working to regulate corporations, and we have large corporations that work to lobby and sort of regulate the government, and they're like boxers going at it fucking constantly, so that not one or the other could ever become too strong that they totally fuck us.
I'm with you 100%. Except I do feel like the corporations are getting too strong, but I think that's the nature of like.
No, I think they are too. I think
I think the money's been too much.
They need someone like an Elizabeth Warren to get in there and break up, Facebook or Google. There doesn't need to be antitrust stuff. From everything I've heard about antitrust cases and its history in the United States, like basically it needs to happen again. There needs to be that Standard Oil type situation where they break up the oil companies.
Teddy Roosevelt.
And it's difficult at first and it's bullshit at first because they're still working together, but eventually you are able to mitigate and cause enough competition.
Yeah, that's what you need. More competition. You got to look at the internet service providers, and now how the internet service providers are becoming content makers, are becoming controllers of all of everything, right? You need to break that. You need to break that.
You're talking about because like Comcast owns Warner.
Yes, Comcast owns Time Warner, and then you saw the Dish Network. AT&T is trying to buy. Like they bought HBO or something like that. They all have like their little slice of this content pie that they're now making. And then, again, it's going to be, instead of cable companies, and you're going to have, internet service providers that are going to control your content, right? And what you can, like with all that stuff, right? There's a whole other conversation there that I'm like, do I really want to get in there?
100%. And that's, you were talking about like sort of visual media or even news.
And you're going to have to use
different too when you're talking about systems like social media systems, Facebook. How in some countries Facebook is actually analogous to the internet.
Right.
And people like, like Myanmar, they call Facebook, like the internet is Facebook. There's
and
like
he
no
was literally trying to do
Burma.
that, right? Wasn't he trying to do that where like the Facebook phones, where it was like all the information, like Mark Zuckerberg in these countries would have, Facebook would give you all of your information from your phone, right? And they're literally controlling the flow of information. So many people now get their news from Facebook. You know what I mean? A lot of people, there was a study that was like, and it was generally a percentage of older people too that become so reliant on getting their news from Facebook.
Bound to be that way.
And then it kind of tilts your perspective, right? Because we talked about it before, algorithms and all that, and the way they want you to kind of think a little bit.
That's why I always recommend everyone subscribe to Neverending News.
Yeah.
Coming to you live
soon
next Thursday. Yeah. Very soon. I so want to do that though, like have a fake news show where you cut to someone who's just like on location at a park, just like talking about what's going on at the park or some sort of like,
oh, man, that'd be really good.
Crap ass local news type story.
But then like talk about the coronavirus in the middle of like a Chicago park, and everyone's like, well, what do you mean? Did you hear about the coronavirus? What? Here?
Yeah. Or you can ask people like in a small town like about international news that just broke like 3 minutes ago. Like you can just find the freshest news story and then just question people on the street.
That earthquake in Indonesia, what do you think about that? 30 people dead.
Right.
Huh?
Have you not been following the information that's come out about? Just get people stuttering.
Real talk.
I didn't see that.
That coronavirus though. How about that and their influence on the global economy? Do you see how that's affecting everything?
Oh yeah, it like knocking out the stock market the last few days.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's pretty crazy how the big. And then
over 1,000 points.
We were supposed to go
1,900
on. It was like 1,000 points, which is one of the biggest drops
in a single day, right?
In a long time.
But because it's run up so much, percentage-wise, it isn't like one of the biggest.
No,
declines.
right.
It's not like
It's not like
Great Depression type stuff.
Yeah,
but it was a huge point drop, which just goes to show there's a lot of room to play with. And they actually, you talked about trillions earlier, people being a trillionaire, starting this off that way. They said it lost, was it $1.9 trillion of equity in a few days?
They were talking about how
like that just disappears from the world's pocketbooks.
Gone. But it's all and it's like the richest people in the world. It's like Amazon, Warren Buffett, Bloomberg. They were talking how the richest men in America lost like something like $146 billion.
That's fucking bullshit.
But
though.
right. But it's all
people. Yeah, because that their portfolios are so gigantic. There's a certain liquid portion. There's a certain amount that's just like going up and down constantly. It's highly speculative. But people that have like $114,000 and that going down to like $85,000.
That's a huge hit.
That's like terrifying.
Yes, that's a huge hit. That's a huge hit. But then a billionaire losing a couple $1 billion. It's like perspective-wise, it's like they're fine. You know what I mean? Like that's just extra wealth. You know what I mean? That's just extra wealth. That's like inflating numbers.
Versus someone that needed the $30,000 for their retirement.
Right.
And they were a couple years away.
Right. And right, exactly. That's why the stock market hurts the regular folk a lot more than the big folk, right?
Yeah.
They were telling me we were supposed to go to Florida in next month.
Who's they?
The family. We're doing a spring break trip, but they were saying how the travel agent, she was mentioning how they actually all just had a meeting, and they're like, there's some rumors that like if it enters the United States, they might shut down air travel to some places domestically. And she's like, you guys need to be careful. Like this might be coming. Like they might be shutting down like this like global pandemic. You know, the travel agencies are like, we're going day to day, because if they start having like a case,
get the fuck out of here.
That's literally what they said, and
I could definitely see that happening. But is that them speculating though, or do they have like
they're holding meetings? They're holding meetings about it, right? And it's coming from higher ups that are like, you know, you need to be ready, because then if all of this air travel gets canceled and blah blah blah. Blah.
That's pretty amazing to me, because that's just straight up saying like we don't want to make money right now.
Well,
right? Is there any way for them to earn in this situation?
Right. That's what I was thinking about.
Are they pushing certain cities like don't go to Florida, go to Oklahoma?
Well, they just shut down like the woman from LAX, right? There was the flight attendant who was in LAX who then was infected. She was a flight attendant, and then she's on a boat or something, and they like the boat's all quarantined now. Like they're really trying to like quarantine this thing. So if it does start to spread, like it's just crazy. It's crazy because air travel is like one of those things that's untouchable. Remember when Trump was dealing with all like the and then when the the air traffic controllers went on strike, that was when he caved because they shut down Newark Airport.
You know why? Because the rich people fly into Newark.
Right, that was it. Right, I was gonna say, but the rich people fly, but like so shutting down.
To my earlier point, when he starts to fuck with the flying, you're telling me because the coronavirus policy, I can't take my private jet to this island or to California now, to New York. Get the fuck out of here. That's when they're going to get after his ass.
How serious?
That's when they're going to get after his ass.
How serious is
this? And look how quick
it
happened with the air traffic controllers, right?
Within 2 days, they caved. Or a day, you know, it's like, oh, we can't do this anymore.
Because you know what happens day one? They're like, I guess we could stay at the Four Seasons tonight. We could, you know, take in a movie.
But business stops. You know, you got to show up to this place. You're going traveling cross country with millions of dollars at stake, and you can't go to these locations, can't seal the deal, can't shake the hand. You're fucking everything up, right? Yeah. But now imagine it's not even Trump and it's literally a virus, like a virus that's like shutting shit down.
That's scary. Do you feel like it's like concerning to you?
It's overblown. It's overblown for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I like talking about it because it is kind of like thrilling, but you know the death toll is less than the regular flu. You know what I mean? It's just
it's not less. Yeah, but right now
I thought it was talking about like the deaths from influenza is more than the deaths from like
numbers.
The yes,
but out of every 100 people who acquire it, I think it's currently like 2% of people die from corona. Right. According to current statistics, which are totally skewed, it's going to be even lower than that.
Sure.
And then it's only like 0.6 or something for influenza. Yeah. But based on what I recently heard, I heard on like NPR today, because of course they were fucking yammering about it because it's been going on so much.
Man, the last I heard about it was like,
The major thing with the two and how it's going to get lower is right now they're mainly focused on the people who are super sick.
Yeah.
And there's tons of people who have probably acquired it and they haven't reported it. They don't have the information for it. So they have the deaths. They probably have a lot of the deaths, but they actually don't know how many people got it and then just ended up recovering.
Right.
Even then, 98% is still a gigantic recovery, right?
And it's probably more immunocompromised people anyways, right?
They said that the average age of the individual that passes away has been in their 70s. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
sure,
that's older.
It's so crazy. Older. It looks like all the pictures I'm seeing out of China are just like wild because it's like spreading like wildfire there, you know?
Well, it's very scary that like the younger doctor died. That was like, it's also like just a good story and how he was trying to like talk about
Save
it.
And, you know,
he got clamped down on by the government. So now that's kind of like tying into the democracy protests in Hong Kong in some way. Democratization of information. From
generally the authoritarian bent of China and how that's running in conflict with like proper, you know, pandemic response, right? Like it's just, that doesn't always go hand in hand.
Well, in terms of if one person, if a small entity, small group of ideas, individuals has the power to control everything and do everything, there is power in that long-term planning, you know, the ability to not be questioned, as we've talked about earlier on, but also
I'd make a great dictator.
Your bad ideas come out totally unfiltered, amplified by your vast fortune, whether or not you currently still deserve to have that amount of money.
Wow.
So like dictators and, you know, nefarious people that are trying to rule and consolidate all power, they can make bigger mistakes in that way too. And that's another way Trump can shoot his ass in the foot.
Make bigger mistakes. Truthfully, he hasn't really made like huge, like big snafus. I mean, he killed some generals, unceremoniously. Probably shouldn't have done that. He's made some stupid decisions, but he hasn't done anything like cataclysmic just yet.
Well,
we're saving that.
It depends who you ask, because obviously, groups have felt attacked and maligned, at least maligned, and also have had policy come against them.
Listen, you know who I am.
I'm not
just saying,
yeah.
I would agree. I just don't think anything has been.
No, but I agree with you, because I'm also saying that the Republicans haven't gone after him yet. They haven't kicked him out of the rich person club yet, because he's still keeping them rich, and the major corporations are still happy. They got their tax thing.
Absolutely.
So look at the amount of money.
We'll wait for round 2, the next 4 years, for when he really fucks it up.
Oh, there's definitely some of that. Actually, they were doing the coronavirus speech that he gave too on the radio, actually live, right? He was saying it. He sounded so tired. It was like one of his low moments where you never see the highlight on TV, and you're just like, there's some very good people that, he just doesn't have the same timbre.
Because he was just going to because he just traveled to India, right?
Oh,
so he was
probably
in India.
Jet lagged.
So he's fucking jet lagged as shit.
I didn't even think about that.
He's out of his element. Right? He doesn't have his usual 4 hours of TV time in the morning.
They're gonna need to give him some of those pills they gave Joe Biden before the last debate.
Man, he was jazzed up.
Get him fired.
You can tell. He wasn't stuttering either. Usually he's got some stutter going.
He was in there. He was forcefully speaking.
Did you watch the debate?
I watched the one before last.
Okay.
When they first started fucking ripping into each other.
Yeah,
I missed the one from last night.
I watched last night, and they were ripping into each other.
Right.
It's just it's like blood sport. I like watching it because it's blood sport. I mean,
people said on the one before that it was bad to see them go after each other and whatnot. In a way, it was, to me, amazing, just because they weren't talking about Trump the entire time.
Right.
Because they actually had their own individual identities, and it wasn't about what he was.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do, right?
Thank God.
We all have the same idea. We just want some differentiation between them, right?
If America is going to elect a new president, i.e. put something new on TV, it's got to be interesting. You got to put a new show. What's the next season of America going to be?
Yes.
It can't just be going against the last season. It can't just be a greatest hits or like a post-game analysis on what just happened in the last season of America, just going against Trump. It has to be, some new content. You need some new fighters. You need some new quips. You need some new shit to watch. I don't want it to be that way. That's absolutely the way it has to be.
It is. It's a reality show. Next season of the reality show, right? Again, though, I found it very interesting watching it, how these are literally the leaders, or potentially are the next leader of our country, and the news anchor cut them off for advertising, right? Who is really in control? It's the advertisers. It's great. Yep, actually, you need to shut up because we got a commercial.
I was gonna say,
you know what I mean? And you're like, whoa, and they all stop. They all stop what they're doing because they have the commercials are at it, blah blah blah. It's very interesting.
It's so great. I'm gonna come up with some sort of mathematical formula to figure out who's in more control at any one minute, like corporations or the government.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be based off of solely how many minutes in an hour of televised TV is owned by corporations, are like commercials. In 1 hour, it's like 22, 23 minutes, right? Maybe 25 minutes.
It's very interesting you mentioned this,
so it's going to be 25 to 35. Like, that's the ratio. And if it ever gets 50-50...
It's all right. The people
not 25, 35.
The All-Star game, the last quarter of the All-Star game, aired with no commercials for Kobe Bryant. Which
no shit.
For Kobe, specifically Kobe Bryant. They were like, we're not, and everyone said it was the best All-Star game in the last 10 years. Everything was super competitive. But the last, quarter, whatever it was, they aired no commercials.
God, that's great.
So that's, what I mean? People were in control for an entire quarter of basketball, and it ended up being one of the best basketball games. You know what I mean? So back to it's interesting, right? Like, you take that corporate control out for a second,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely when it comes to debates or anything like that, it's
Just look. You know what? I should specifically base the percentage off of the debates too for president. Because that's like when it's extremely obvious. Because even the NBA has enough money to pull this one quarter stunt, right?
Yeah, right.
But I want to actually use the percentage of time.
Loss? What's the revenue loss, though? Like, literally, the NBA gave up millions of dollars to do this, right? Whereas, these debates, they structure it. It was actually really funny because they had a certain amount of advertisers they had to get in. So at the end of the debate, you could tell it was over. And they're like, all right, well, this is the end of the... And then the one lady pokes her, and she's like, oh, well, we'll be back after this. We have one more break. And then literally they did another set of commercials, and then they came back, all right, now we're over. It was like really funny. Like, they set it up to where there might be more content, but there really wasn't. It was over. So it was like 2 sets of commercials back to back. So they probably that's how they structured it. So she knew the debate was over, but then was like, oh, we got one more segment and we'll get a few more words from and then they didn't come back. They just ended it right away.
That's funny.
But they had to get their money out. They had to get their money.
Yeah, that is funny.
Actually, there's talk because apparently to get into the debate, and I don't know how true this is, but this is the rumor going around.
The amount of money.
The amount of money somebody had to pay. You had to pay like $1,300 to get a ticket to sit in the debate, and that's why they were talking about how the debate audience was like skewed. Normally, they were like there was like Bloomberg got a bunch of applause at moments, and people were like, "What the hell?" Like the audience did not match.
That's genius.
The audience
they
did not
selected
match.
the supporters based on income. They just got money.
So that's what they did
to weed people out.
So that
Bernie was talking shit about that. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
That's how I heard.
Because he didn't understand why he was getting booed for the things he was saying. But it turned out that the audience was, Bloomberg's fucking paid a bunch of people to go sit in the audience for him. When you have $1,300 a ticket,
that's wild.
You're gonna have certain people. So the people that got applause, and you saw the people that got booed. Warren got booed. Sanders got booed.
This is so fucking interesting because now I'm putting this together. I also this morning heard some radio clips from the debate. Heard some of the noise in the audience. Like it sounded very different from the one before that.
Super different.
And specifically going against Bernie or like being more negative toward Bernie.
He's a front runner. So
being
he's
more into Bloomberg,
right?
Like going nuts when he made the Russia comment.
Right. But it's like
they want him to win.
Right. But it's weird. It's super weird. It's all. And then you see this stuff. There's a bunch of. I follow some people on Instagram that were saying that the Bloomberg campaign was reaching out to pay them to influence, say, hey, vote for Bloomberg, we'll give you $150. Apparently, they're like finding people online, influencers that they're paying to then be pro Bloomberg.
Oh, I saw the ones posted by Grape Juice Boys and that sort of stuff.
That's
fuck
it.
Jerry, right? That
Yep,
sort of
fuck
stuff.
Jerry. Yep, and it's the there's the other one that's like the anti-fuck Jerry one. That's the one I follow. There's I can't remember.
It's all right, but I know he.
Yes. Anyways,
he's spending a lot of money to do a lot of
money.
Outreach.
So that's
actually, I work on this street on Argyle. It's like Asian Argyle is what they call it. But they have like Vietnamese shops, Chinese places, and someone had a sign in their window today for the first time in this election. It's February 26th, by the way. It said Chinese for Mike, like Bloomberg 2020. It just said Chinese for Mike, like it just like. Ethnic group for whatever, like national group for whatever. This is the first time I've seen this, and like talk about being extremely regional in your advertising.
But that's what they were. Yeah, there were hip hop channels. They were talking about. Mike Bloomberg was advertising on there, and they were saying how weird it was because he was just like, "We're gonna make you more money," and like he was actively trying to target them, and like you're saying, China, blacks, Latinos. You know what I mean?
It's scary to see someone who's legitimately wealthy try to just buy it, try to just spend as much money as possible.
He's got a big ground game.
Whatever he has to do, and he's not even close to spending anything, right?
No, he's nothing.
Proportion of his income.
He was talking to how he literally said last night. He's like, I bought 20 of those seats. Talking about the congressional.
He actually said he bought
40,
senators.
40 senators, congressmen. He's like, for 20 of those seats I bought, and he said it, and everyone was like, oh shit, he just said it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like it's interesting. Like
people kind of want him to be the Democratic Trump.
Yes.
To kind of be an asshole and not apologize for
it. He's got some big ground game. He's got so many organizations that he's put money into that like are like good organizations. Don't get me wrong, like Mothers Against Guns, all this shit that he's put money into. And now he's like, okay, now I want. You know what I mean? Nothing's for free. So now you're going to help me elect me president, right? It's not like he was just doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He was setting up this huge ground game so that he could then come in, and now there's like all these organizations. He's paying off all these mayors, like because he's got this like local organization that's going like, hey, we'll give you money, and it's from Mike Bloomberg Foundation. Hey, would you endorse Mike? Fuck yeah, I'll endorse Mike. He just gave me, a couple million to fix my parks. Meanwhile, you know what I mean? He keeps it rolling, right?
What's your price?
Right. How much, I got money.
Here's a check. Just write it on there, mail it back to the campaign office.
I got money.
Try to send that thing in as soon as we can.
It's just but that's you saw that very clearly in the debate, and they're freaking out. They don't understand. They don't understand why it's populist movements, right? That's what's in.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. It's going to be something. We're close to Super Tuesday now. Probably the next time we record one of these, or if not, right after that. We'll
I think we know what's going to happen.
Everyone's going to stay in until the end and then just be dragging on Bernie's legs.
Yeah,
as
that's
he tries to fight Trump,
because
and they're going to be pulling him down as he's like trying to take swings at Trump.
But that's what I see what's happening. Everyone's like, we got to get behind the Democratic nominee. But it's like, okay, but it's going to be somebody you don't like, and are you going to be okay with that?
Me? Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
There's so many of them too. I'd be happy with
So many.
What is it? Are there 6 of them now we're considering?
You got Klobuchar.
You happy with 4 out of 6 of them?
You got Klobuchar. You got Tom Steyer. You got
Steyer. Come on, get the fuck off the stage, Tom Steyer.
Listen, he's all about reparations. That's his big thing. He really is pro reparations. It's fun. It's not funny, but that's the one thing he keeps talking about is like reparations. And I'm like, okay, like that's a whole other topic. But how do you think you're going to get a giant chunk of the country to vote for reparations? It's just not. It's just not. I don't see it.
If he really wanted to do some good for the African American community, he should drop out of the fucking race and put his money behind someone
He
like
says
Bernie, probably.
Right, exactly. But then okay, so you got Bernie, you got Warren, you got Bloomberg, you got Biden, and then you got Buttigieg. Those are your people. Those are your 6. Wait. I think. Go ahead.
What's your Klobuchar read?
Man, I don't know. I kind of like her. You know what I mean? I think she is the most I don't know how to say it, like governmental, like you know what I mean? Like she's governmental. She's like she's like very like not bureaucratic, but she's been in the trenches. You know what I mean? And she's talking about it like I got things passed.
She's been in the marble-lined wooden workspaces.
Yes, exactly, exactly right. She goes to the expensive fundraising dinners, and she's a woman that's been in she's a political animal and a woman, and I think that being a woman in politics to get to the level she's at, she's done and accomplished so many other things than I think a man in her position is. And I know that's super unpopular for me to say, but it's super hard for her to get where she's at, to get on that stage. Yeah. She's done a lot of stuff to get there. She's
pretty kick-ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have the read I figured. I was just curious.
I don't dislike her at all.
Quickly, was this your first debate last night?
I've watched like most of them.
Okay, so
I've watched a lot of them.
Okay, so you're pretty well versed. Yeah. There was no one thing in particular that was drawing you to this one.
No. I like them more now that there's fewer people, because this is now when they start to really go at each other. Like last night it was chaos. Everyone was going over time. Everyone was talking over each other.
It's like drinking too much on a podcast.
Right. People couldn't like close their mouths, and it was not. And actually, I actually got a respect for like Bloomberg, because when his time was up, my time's up, and stopped talking. Meanwhile, Buttigieg was going way over time. Steyer was going way over time. Biden was like, I don't know why I stopped. Nobody else is stopping. Everyone's talking over each other. Buttigieg kept pissing me off, because
did he really?
He did, because he wasn't saying anything. He was just interrupting Bernie, and there was one particular thing where he just talked over Bernie and then said nothing for a minute and a half. And I was like, literally, you're interrupting this guy. You agree with things he's saying.
Is that your read on it, though, or do you feel like it was really that way? I read the New York Times opinions of how everyone did. Yeah. I think he was like second, right behind Bernie. They said he did all right. I thought he's done great in his debates.
Yes.
He's like amazing. Yes. He's an amazing speaker.
Yes, something about him I don't like. I won't even lie. Something about Buttigieg
Help me understand this, because I don't have any problem with him. I like him a lot. I'm like, yeah, he's young.
He's young. I don't know, something about him.
He's 6 years older than me. I know. He's 7 years older than me.
I feel like
I feel like I'm no spring chicken anymore. It's like, how old do you have to fucking be? When are you in the prime of your life? When can you lead, with conviction?
And that's part of it that I think is like, okay, cool. He is a young guy. He's got the fire, the vim, the vigor.
But what is it about him?
I can't tell you. I really don't know what about him. Is
it that he has something annoying, or that he doesn't have something authentic that he's not showing?
Both.
Okay.
I feel like he is coming to me. He comes across as like not inauthentic, but like very like. I don't know. Like he's like, okay, somebody put it like this. Like he watched hours and hours and hours of Obama doing speeches and memorized them, but did not have. But
he grew up watching them.
But doesn't have the heart or the passion or like the charisma to back it up. Right. We all did. Right. But it was like he's like, it's almost robotic. You know what I mean? I don't know. He just, something about him feels disingenuous to me. I've heard all sorts of conspiracy rumors about him too, which I don't necessarily want to, float. But there's.
I don't even want to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like there's a lot of it has to do with where he used to work.
McKinsey.
Yes, and how that's a kind of a corporate espionage type firm, and that he was doing corporate espionage straight up after being in. A veteran going into wars and then leaving that, going into corporate espionage. Some people are saying that, he has some CIA type backing, right? Like the
So wait.
the structure
he's
of him.
He's the height of government. He's the height of corporation, and he's the height of military power.
Right, exactly. This is why it's like it's very silly, right? When you read it.
No. But I could
But the idea
sympathize
is
with that on a level because in a way it's accurate. It's just I think it's just like
it's not that over big
shaped in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's being framed in a certain way to act like he is this soldier, meaning he's like
everything
a
to
spy.
everything, right?
That he's some sort of like McKinsey consultant, meaning he's like really running the world.
Right.
He's like he's maybe one of these corporation people I'm talking about that's going to remove Trump. Right. I'm kind of perpetuating that to act like corporations are like an entity that act in a single interest, when in reality, if the corporations ever went after Trump, some would still support him and some would then go after him. It would be like an interplay of different influences.
Right, but that he has been a candidate that has been like groomed for this spot, South Bend
so
being
what?
like right.
So the fuck what? Groom him. We have the most ungroomed person in the world.
Sure, yeah, totally.
I think it makes perfect sense to want to swing the pendulum all the way to the person who seems like they were born to be fucking president.
What about? Do you think do you think he has that feeling like he was born to be president? Do you feel that way about him?
Do I feel it, or do I think he thinks it?
No, I'm sure. I know he thinks it, right? I feel like
I don't think he was born to be president because I think we do all.
What are your
craft
thoughts on
our
it?
thing? I think he very well may be president, if not this time around, in the future. Think of how young he is and how many cracks he's going to get at this. He has every fucking reason in the world to never drop out of this race and to milk every minute that he can get CNN to scroll his crazy ass name on the bottom of their screen.
Which is why I was surprised that Andrew Yang dropped out when he did. I thought that he.
He stayed in. He stayed in. He and that's going to actually probably win him points long term if he dropped out at an appropriate point. It could also backfire on Buttigieg. The people are pissed off at him long term because he just ends up being this fucker.
Spoiler, man.
That spoils everything.
What point? Like we're saying, like you got to get behind the nominee. So if Super Tuesday rolls around and Bernie runs away with it, right? Like straight up runs away with it, where it's clear that are all these guys going to drop out? Or are they going to be like, we're taking it to the convention? And you're like.
It depends if there's diffusion of responsibility. So if they all don't drop out and they all dig their heels in, which actually it seems like they're gonna. Bloomberg is gonna keep spending.
Oh yeah,
until
like
the very
it's gonna be
last day.
Bloomberg Sanders. That's what it's gonna be.
So that is gonna happen. Bloomberg's gonna lead the charge with money and with his face on the TV screen.
When he can buy these super delegates that they're not getting rid of, right? And he's gonna just straight up buy them. Right, and then it's going to be like, well, he won the superdelegate race, but then the regular delegates, it's going to be just like a Hillary Clinton situation, where Sanders has all these delegates, but it's not going to be the right delegates to put him into where he belongs.
That feels awful to me. That feels so shitty.
But that's what they're talking about. The last debate you watched, that was one of the last questions they asked. Do you want the process or do you want it to be whoever has the most votes? And of course, people change their minds.
What we're talking about is they asked whether it's just based on who has the most support in the country after doing all these primaries in different states.
The primaries and caucus, you get different delegates. And then when it goes to the main convention where you elect somebody, there's the super delegates that are awarded based on, like, I think a percentage of votes in each state or something like that.
What a riot.
Right.
What an unbelievable riot.
Right. And it's like, do you want just the votes? Do you want the people who voted and you want their will to become, the candidate, or do you want the super delegates and the process and this whole thing to take place where people are jockeying for votes and all that kind of thing? And
why have all these intermediaries?
Right.
Just like,
but it's all money.
It's all damn money.
Yeah, money.
Started and stopped on money.
Yeah,
it's your green hat.
Yeah, it's the green hat.
I think your green hat's
money.
Inspiring us,
man. Yeah.
So let's go spend some of that money.
Let's go spend some of our cheddar.
Let's go spend some of that cheddar, and we cut to us going to a thrift store right now. Cut to us at the GoPro, going to the thrift store
with the
at
new
9:50 p.m.
Let's do it.
Oh, they're closed. Shit.
Ooh.
That, or we should go like 10 minutes before a thrift store closes.
And then those annoying guys with cameras in there, like making jokes and like, these fucking guys, what the fuck are they doing?
They're running. They're trying to get all their shots in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with these guys.
That would be funny, like a real 10-second, like our 10-minute one, just real trying to make it work.
Unbelievable.
All right.
So I don't know what the time is exactly. I feel like we should end. I think we're around an hour. I did not actually check the time when we started.
I get it. You don't want to hear me talk politics anymore.
It could be way over.
You don't want to hear me talk about the Democratic primary anymore.
Tune in next time for the Super Tuesday special.
Oh, here you go. No, don't do that.
Your number one news source.
Yeah.
The Neverending Becoming with Matt and James, featuring Bernie Sanders talk, Liz Warren speak, Tom Steyer statistics,
reparations with Tom Steyer.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Later, taters.
Yeah.